What's up, everybody? It's another episode of the First On Magazine ELF show. One of the last episodes, man. We're getting close to the end of the season. As you can see beside me, of course, is the handsome Joey Lindstrom, one of the commentators for the ELF. How are you doing, Joey?
I'm great. You know, we've gone through this whole year, and every time I'm on, you tell me I'm so handsome. And I have to say, you got to look yourself in the mirror someday, Davide. Well, I appreciate it.
It's crazy how the year flew by, huh? We're last 2 weeks of the regular season, and then it's on to the playoffs.
Yeah, it was a well-timed bye week last week, too. I think everybody kind of gets to sort of take a moment to really soak in these last couple weeks. And I feel like this year we've had a lot more parity, especially at the top with the teams vying for the wild card spots. And that's kind of what you and I talked about at the beginning of the year. This is where the money's made and where these teams can really clutch up. And we got a special guest today who's all about clutch performances for sure. So I'm excited to talk about all things ELF.
This is going to be, the last 2 weeks are going to be so exciting because I believe it's like 6 or 7 teams that are still available to get into the playoffs. The Frankfurt Galaxy have like 3%, but I'm still going to count them because if you have Wang at quarterback, you never count them out.
Yep.
But today we're talking to a young quarterback who's already clinched the playoffs. He's good. He's won the South, and he's won it in fashion. He's beat the Surge. He's done a lot of great things this year, of course. I'm talking about Russell Tabor time. What's up, Russell? How you doing?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing fantastic, and I'm getting ready to start the episode. The first segment is going to be a little trivia game. I'm going to have you guys build the best team you can, okay? This is going to be a team composed of a quarterback, a running back, 2 wide receivers, a tight end, an offensive line, because everybody should start looking more into offensive line, give some respect to the offensive lines, and of course the defense as well. You're going to pick one at a time. I'm going to give you the teams that I've already randomized before the recording, okay? And then at the end of it all, the comments are going to decide which one of you two were able to make the better choices. Sounds good?
Got it. Okay.
Okay. So, as the guest, we're going to let Russell start. Are you okay with that, Joey?
That's fine. I'll defer to the second half.
All right. Russell, for your first pick, the team that you're going to have to pick from is the Madrid Bravos, your close neighbors, friends in the South.
I think I'll have to go receiver there. That's a pretty easy one.
Which receiver are you picking?
That'd be Crookshank right there.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes plenty sense. All right. Joey, your first pick is from the Paris Musketeers.
Okay. Wow. It's a tough call because we have a beloved quarterback in the ELF on. And I'm hoping that he gets the Ravens so he can choose himself. But I'm going to go kind of a wild card. Maybe I won't. I'm going to go Jalen Henderson for sure.
You're going to go Jalen Henderson. Quarterback in the first round. Wow.
I'll take. I don't mind. Okay. I mean, he puts up numbies. If we're talking pure fantasy and Russell's not available, I got to take Jalen. Or Reed or Jadrian. I mean, there's so many good quarterbacks in this league. Maybe I could have waited for some value.
Russell, your second team, and when I was randomizing this, I was like, damn, that's a lineup. You're getting Vienna as your second team.
I gotta go tight end there with Beer Bomber.
That's fair. Florian Beer Bomber, one of the best tight ends in the league, struggling to keep up maybe with another guy up in Copenhagen, but we're going to move on. You have Ryan Fire, Joey.
Harlan
Quofi. Well, after he got the receiving record, like most touchdowns in a game, you got to go Harlito.
Yeah, there's no doubt.
That's fair. Now, we are back with Russell. And Russell, you do have the Munich Ravens.
This is a no-brainer. I'm going with the O-line. Best O-line in the league.
Ooh, okay. Who's your favorite O-line?
That's not happening, unfortunately. That's like choosing a favorite child or something. You can't do that.
Is there like you know how quarterbacks in the NFL buy Christmas presents for their guys? Are you shelling out anything for a particular holiday that's coming up?
Yeah, with these huge ELF contracts we've been signing, so much extra money lying around.
Yeah.
No, but
A couple of pints can do some
always
good.
try to grab a pint, grab a coffee, or some McDonald's after a game. Just small gestures to let them know how much I appreciate what they do for me. But unfortunately, no diamond necklaces or Polarises coming their way this year.
I mean, you're in Munich, Germany. That's probably the best place in the world to get them a beer, probably. So I'll be happy with that one.
Yeah.
Joey, next team up, Stuttgart Surge.
Wow, what do I have available right now?
You have your running back, another wide receiver, tight end, a line, and defense.
I don't even know right now. Because I want, so many guys in mind, and I don't get to know Stuttgart enough because I've called them one time.
Well, you know a guy that we interviewed last week or 2 weeks ago.
I know, but I already knocked down my receiver. Otherwise, I would have put.
Oh, you got two. There's two receivers in the team.
Oh, it's two. Oh, then
yeah.
give me Harley. Give me Mike.
Yeah, gotta go, Mike.
Yeah.
Okay. Russell, next team up. Prague Lions.
I'm gonna go Willie P there. Love Willie. I got to meet him when I was still over in Madrid last year, and he's a great guy, great player.
He's a great guy too. Yeah, he's a great player too to have on the team for sure.
He's crushing.
Now, Joey, Panthers Wroclaw. I think this is a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I think running back or defense have to be the pick here.
Yeah. Brzezowski for sure.
Yeah,
Berzo
is a great pick. Of course. All right. Russell, you have Ryan Fire too.
Ooh.
Do you need me to refresh you on the three positions you have left, or?
No, I know I'm QB, running back, defense. You can't really go wrong with any of those with Ryan, but I'll probably just make sure I'm solid on defense and go with their defense here.
It's a great pick. Right, so Joey. Ooh.
I got O-line, D-line.
You weren't as lucky here. You got the Cologne Centurions, buddy. Either tight end, O-line, or defense are going to be from the Centurions. Who are you picking?
Yeah. Listen, it is a hard league. And Cologne has put up some points at times, but they're O-line to the test here. I don't know. It's and it's sort of a bind. This is the tough part, but I know that their defense has had some trouble, put it lightly. So they've been riddled with injury. So I'll take the O-line, I suppose, and I'll just have Jalen Henderson running around back there.
Yeah, that's fair.
We'll run a ton of motion like Kyle Shanahan offense.
All right, it's gonna be Jalen Henderson week 1 against Ryan all over again.
Yeah, just extensions of the run game with bubble screens all day.
Right, Russell, you weren't lucky here as well. You got the Helvetic Mercenaries. Are you going to get the quarterback or the running back?
I'll take the running back.
Okay, all right.
Could have been Jack Crawford. I mean, he's.
That's what I was thinking. I can't allow you.
Back earlier this year.
Yeah, I can't allow you Jack Crawford.
With how good Devin Burrell is on special teams, maybe I'll just throw him at running back.
True.
Okay. So are we gonna do a Devin? We're gonna do a Devin running back.
That's allowed, then sure.
Sure. Oh,
I have a tight end left and
a straight toss sweep.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just let him run free. Yeah. Now, Joey, you still have the tight end and the defense.
Okay.
So you have Vienna now. Russell had him in the second round. Now you have Vienna late.
Gotta go defense if he's not available, right? So Vienna defense for sure. I feel like that's a pretty sound pick right there.
Now, Russell, you're stuck with picking a quarterback. The team that you're picking a quarterback from, I don't know if you know their quarterback, is the Nordic Storm.
Got lucky there. Yeah.
That's such good value late. I was waiting for the Storm to come back.
Yeah. Well, Joe, you were waiting for the Storm to come back. They have a pretty good tight end, and you are going to have the Nordic Storm for tight end.
Did you rate
Just
this?
both
I'll
Nordic Storm
happily
in the
take-
last round.
Yeah, I'll help you take a Druya. You know, I've had the Storm this weekend will be my fifth game of theirs, so
Yeah.
I've got to know Adria Botemoreno pretty well.
Well, he's
over,
the tight end with the most touchdowns right now, so that's
Yeah.
a pretty solid pick right there. So, just to recap, we have Russell with Jadron Clark at quarterback, weird Devin Burrell at running back. Ooh, damn! You get Cruikshank and Patterson as the couple of wide receivers. You have Florian Bierbaum at tight end. Holy shit, this is a good team. Ravens O-line and the Rheinfire defense. And then Joey, you have Jalen Henderson, Berzowski, which I guess is an advantage because he's actually a running back. You have Quofi and Mike Harley Jr. as wide receivers. Adria Botemoreno, who technically, statistically, is the better choice between the two tight ends. The Cologne O-line, which kind of
Yeah, Adria's going to have to hang in there for 7-man protection a lot.
Yeah. Well, Birdzo is pretty good at covering as well, helping out the O-line. So that's a solid pick right there. I don't think Devin Burrell is doing too much of helping the quarterback out with the coverage or with the blocking. And then on defense, you have the Vienna Vikings with Lucky. Guys, let me know in the comments who you think won this one. Okay, so we're moving on to the huddle, the next segment, which is going to be a little more of an interview segment. First question, starting off easy. How do you like the life in Munich? How's it been adapting to the German culture and just living in Germany in general?
It's been great. I really didn't know what to expect. I'd never been in Germany before the season started, but the teammates have been great, and everyone in the organization has really welcomed me and all the imports with open arms. And I think the organization just kind of makes the transition as easy as it can possibly be. And it's not too bad living here in Munich. It's pretty nice.
What made you go to Munich though? We know you went through, we already said in the trivia segment, you went through Spain, and we're going to talk about the Osos Rivas in a second, but what made you come over here in Europe and then go to Munich in particular?
I originally just came to Europe. It was actually through a coach I had at UNC named Lee Rose, who's now on the staff in Madrid.
Wait. Coach Rose coached you at UNC?
Mm-hmm.
He was my coach at Butler.
There you go.
Oh.
That's insane. I didn't realize that was your connect. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Let's go. He's the man.
Lee's an awesome guy. His dad was actually the defensive coordinator for our high school rivals, so I had just kind of some level of connection there with him being from Charlotte. But he had always been talking about European football, and honestly, I didn't really listen to him at first, and was like, why is this guy talking about football in Europe? I didn't even know that existed. And then, kind of as the years went by, and didn't think I was going to get a shot to compete for the job at Chapel Hill, and just sort of started exploring other options and thought about transferring, and had some friends actually from college who were going to Madrid. And I just said, hey, Lee, are there any teams in Madrid? And he said, yeah, there's probably two that you'd want to play for. There's the Black Demons and the Osos. And so I got in touch with the Osos and ended up signing there and never looked back.
That's crazy because my teammate Mason Brunner played for the Black Demons before COVID, and Coach Rose was his connect there. So it's funny that he's got his hands in both, right? He's able to reference.
Finding talents over to Europe, this guy. Love that.
Yeah.
And then I guess just actually sort of shortly thereafter, I was back home and I went in my high school coach's office and I was talking to him. I said, hey, coach, this is going to come completely out of left field, but I'm going to Europe. I'm leaving tomorrow for Madrid. And he was excited. And he said, you know what? Now that I think about it, my college teammate is like the Tom Brady of Europe. And I was like, oh, wow. And so he sends me Sean Shelton's contact.
Ooh.
No way.
And so I got in touch with Sean a little bit, and we talked a little bit last summer, and then we got kind of back in touch in maybe September, October, and things fell into place, and they ended up offering me the contract. And so I knew I knew when that happened that this is where I wanted to be.
What did you tell them in the interview, or what did you show in the practice before the season to get a multi-year contract before even doing your first year in the ELF? What did you do? You just impressed everybody so much. What happened?
It's a bucket.
No, I don't know. No, the interview was pretty fun. We kind of just talked ball, watched some film, and then they kind of brought that up shortly thereafter about maybe doing a multi-year deal. And I was kind of caught off guard, honestly, as well. But they felt really strongly about wanting a young guy that they can build around, especially just the way the ELF is with imports. There's so much turnover year to year, and it's really hard to have kind of a cohesive culture when you're bringing, especially at the quarterback position, when you're bringing new guys in all the time. And so they were, believed in me enough to want to build around me. And so I saw that as a huge compliment. And if they felt that strongly about me, then I'd, kind of show some reciprocity there and sign my name on the dotted line and, really just show that I'm committed to building this thing.
What about the time in Madrid? We kind of skipped over that one. You said you played with the Osos Rivas. How was it playing in the LNFA, so the Spanish league, for people that don't know? How do you think it prepared you to then make the jump to, because a lot of quarterbacks come into Europe and they've never played European American football, and it's a lot different compared to, the facilities and the training and the coaching level and all of that stuff that you get in the United States. So how did that help you transition to European American football?
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible experience with Osos and Coach Martin, Coach Ricky and his brother Enrique, the Martin brothers. They were absolutely incredible. All my teammates were so much fun to play with, and it really, especially in this modern era of NIL and transfer portal and everything, where there's really kind of a dollar amount attached to everything. It's being able to come to Madrid, and it's no one's getting paid, and honestly most guys are paying dues to be on the team, and so it's just that true passion and that love for the game and just wanting to win and putting the team before yourself. It was honestly really refreshing, and kind of allowed me to fall back in love with the game after a few years of maybe kind of getting a little bit burnt out and things not necessarily going my way. So that was awesome. But, definitely to your point about just a huge difference in funding, facilities, things like that, coming from Carolina with all the Jordan stuff and the indoor facility and this, that, and the other. And then, getting off the plane, and 4 days later, we're playing our first game on the Alcobendas Cavaliers field. And, I can't see a blade of grass out there. It's just mud. And I'm like, what the heck did I get myself into? But, I think to your point, getting kind of working through those things and, maybe reorienting your perspective on some of those aspects of European football probably were, beneficial to me before this season, ELF, because, I imagine for some of these guys, like the guy in Frankfurt, maybe just coming from the Chargers mini camp to Europe, and now he's got to deal with, kind of reorienting his perspective and all these changes, and he's in the middle of an ELF season. So, huge respect to him for playing so well. But I felt like, kind of my gradual journey throughout Europe has probably helped me some.
What about now? I have praised you. You've won the trivia game. I've talked about how great you've been so far with the Munich Ravens and everything. I have to go to the negatives. People have raised questions about your accuracy and about the interceptions. You have 23 touchdowns and 10 interceptions this year. So my question is, of course, you're a young quarterback. There is room to improve. What do you reply to those questions?
There's a common saying in the States is the ball is the program. And so that's definitely an issue. You never want to be turning the ball over. And so, something that I'm definitely focused on is just being smarter with the ball. But sometimes it's better to turn on the tape than just look at the box score. And every turnover kind of has a story to it. And at the end of the day, it falls on me, and I take full responsibility for it. But you can't really view anything in a vacuum, and, just continue trying to get better.
Listen, I think I'm a big proponent of, if my quarterback's not taking enough risks, I don't want him. I wanted a gunslinger that's just going to live and die by it, And I feel like it's paid off. You guys just one loss on the season, offensive efficiency out the wazoo, but it feels like you guys can answer the bell anytime any adversity comes your way. I mean, I think about the one game I've had with you guys this year was that Madrid game. That was back and forth as it could be. That was a true team win, couple turnovers here and there, mainly from both sides. And it just felt like you guys never really blinked an eye. So to the haters that are worried about interceptions, look at the win total. I'll stick up for you, Russ.
Yes, sir.
Sorry, I didn't mean to call you Russ. I don't know. I would call you Russell, but
Well, you can call me either one. Kind of a 50-50 split over here.
Yeah, but I think it goes to show, I think especially in this league too, because it is very quarterback heavy and quarterback reliant, you kind of have to be a little bit of a risk taker to be able to win those games.
Well, a way you can call him, Joey, is Tabor time. This picked up in the game against the Stuttgart Surge that you were able to bring home. Man, I love the spirit at the end of the game. You're down, you need to win the game. You're not sliding, you're jumping forward and landing on your face. What happened there? Can you break down that play? You had to go out for a second. You had your I think your mouse or your chin strap hit you in the face or something like that. What happened? Can you break that down?
Yeah, so that play specifically, I think we might have had a run play or a quarterback draw on. I can't remember exactly what, but the snap was low. It was just kind of one of those, I guess you could say, oh crap moments. And so just kind of get what you can, and got outside, and I guess instinct sort of took over. Probably not my finest hurdle attempt there, but got the first down, and yeah, helmet kind of popped me in the face, and mouth was bleeding, and so I guess we had to burn a timeout there, but ended up getting a touchdown a couple of plays later, and that win felt great.
I mean, we've seen the Ravens fall back early in the game a couple of times this year. And the great thing has been you were always able to bounce back and win it when it matters the most. I think that's what actually earned you the Tabor time. It's fourth quarter, it's Tabor time. He's taking over, he's going to win this game. So what I have for you is, would you describe yourself as clutch? How are you able to bring out this moment for the team?
I might not necessarily comment on that, but I'd say I've always felt like, regardless of the sport and kind of regardless of what age I've been, ever since I was young, in the biggest moments, I want the ball in my hands. I want to step up, and I think we have seen some of that. And my teammates have made incredible plays in the biggest moments, and my O-line is blocking their asses off. And I think to some extent, when they know that I'm not going to blink, they're behind them, and on fourth down or when the game's on the line, that's when I feel like I'm at my best. I think they really rally around the energy, and that's when they're at their best as well. And so I think kind of all 11 of us coming together with that same mentality has culminated in some of these come from behind wins or big fourth quarter performances. But kind of to your prior question of me having some turnover issues or things like that, I think that Stuttgart game is a great example. Is if I play better in those first three quarters, or really first 4.5 quarters or 3.5 quarters, we might not need those late game heroics that we were able to have. And so that's definitely been a focus of mine, is just playing cleaner ball earlier in the game and not forcing us into those spots where we have to be clutch. And it's great that we can be, but that next step for all of us, and it starts with me, is just maybe teams who we feel like we can put away earlier, going ahead and doing that.
Joey, can you jump on with the next one?
Absolutely, yeah. No, we're thinking about your journey, and we talked a bit about it, and some of the differences between your experience in Carolina at Chapel Hill, Osas Rivas, and now with Munich. What's kind of changed as far as technical it's gotten at each stop is more one thing that I'm curious about, and also just kind of the competition level and how you connect with people from different cultures. Curious, sort of an umbrella question.
I guess I'll maybe go question by question. You might have to remind me.
Maybe start with the technical part, obviously with American football in the States, you could deep dive a lot. When you're in Europe, I'm sure you're playing with folks that don't have as much experience as you do. Where have you challenged your guys are you finding yourself challenging your guys to get with the technical terms and learn coverages, for example, and offensive line protection, or has it been a little bit more 100 level, if you will, just to make sure everybody's on the same page?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say my experiences have been different. So if we start with Spain, largely they had an offensive system in place, and, it was more basic and bare bones. And I brought in some some of our stuff from UNC or just kind of general football stuff that I'd picked up through my years and would install it for certain situations. Largely didn't really have anyone kind of on me about decision making or things like that. And so, to your prior comment about being a gunslinger, like if you want to see a gunslinger, you turn on my Spain tape, because I was taking the most aggressive possible option at all times and trying to sling some deep balls. And kind of now transitioning to Munich, having Sean, having Kyle, and a lot of coaches on the staff who really know ball and have been on me about just being a more consistent quarterback, playing from the pocket more, kind of just being more precise with my intermediate pass game reads and footwork and stuff. And so I think that's been helpful for me, and maybe not as much in the mindset of like I develop my game in the States so I can implement it in Europe. And it's more of, continuous development and sort of reestablishing that growth mindset of like, you never stop improving, you never stop learning. And so that's one thing I've really enjoyed about my time here in Munich. But as far as the guys around me, there's somewhat of a learning curve to it. And I think really the toughest part is just guys have other jobs and they can't put in 3 hours of film study every day like the imports can. And so I think especially when you're looking at new installs week to week, it's harder to be as variable here as we were able to be in the States, when you have guys meeting for hours on end every day, and you have much more practice time. So there is a hurdle there, but I really just applaud these guys for, every waking hour they've got, they're trying to, fit in some film study time or install time, and we're able to get a good bit in despite their busy schedules.
Do you find that you can be more direct with the Germans that are in the homegrowns that are in your team versus the Spanish, or how is that? Like, as a leader, like, how are you kind of commanding and provoking guys, like, to get the best out?
It's definitely been just sort of a continuous evolution for me, and I would be the first to say that I still could do a much better job, but I'm always a very direct leader. And so as a quarterback, man, if you didn't do it how we're thinking, I'll tell you right away. And, if you think I'm wrong, we can have a discussion. But yeah, no, I'm kind of a leave no stone unturned type of guy. And always going to try to build my guys up and build that confidence in them, but also make sure that, we're all seeing things the same way. We're on the same page, so that on Sundays, none of that maybe gray area can come to light. But I'd say actually even Spanish guys and German guys, they've all responded really well. I think everyone does a really good job of checking the ego at the door. And I think they're really open to kind of wanting to learn. At the end of the day, everyone wants to get the ball. So they want to be on the same page as me.
You think that comes with the fact that football in Europe is a little bit behind in terms of money and stuff? Like, if I'm here and I'm taking the time out of my days, I have another job and I'm here and I'm playing with this guy, I want to listen to every word and I'm not going to be, bitchy, Does that make sense? Like, do you think it comes with the fact that football here is different?
Maybe so, but I just know from my background in the States, and I think Joey could probably attest to this, is a lot of times it's hard for people to, take constructive criticism and not kind of feel personally attacked sometimes. But I just can only applaud these guys for just really wanting to get better. And maybe some of it is to the fact of not having that development when they were younger. And so any type of coaching or development that they can get, they're gonna buy into it. But I just feel like there's a lot of humility and just a hunger to get better and to win games.
I have to ask you, what is your relationship with Malik Stanley? He's a veteran receiver here in Europe. He was with Munich last year as well. Great player. He's been doing it for a while. So has he helped you outside of the field also? And then what's your relationship in the field, of course?
Yeah, we have an awesome relationship. I mean, I can say without a doubt, Leek's the best receiver I've ever played with. And, not only is he, super skilled in all the ways you see in the box score of, being a great route runner and contested catch guy, but he blocks his butt off. He's just a competitor, and he does a lot of those things that kind of that dirty work that really, I think, sets the tone for the rest of the team. And he's got just kind of this contagious energy about him. And so I think even though we have very different energies, I'm not really hooting and hollering and talking smack type of guy, but he have this same mentality of the things that truly matter, and that's just that dogged competitiveness and that hunger. And so I think early on, maybe in our first few games, he kind of saw that in me. And I think ever since then, you know, we've kind of just been attached at the hip. And, you know, I know, speaking for myself, I'm very grateful to get to play with him.
I have to ask you about Chad Jeffries. You are getting in for Chad. Chad was recruited by Ryan Fire through the offseason when Ryan Fire lost Jadrian. So there was kind of this whole movement of quarterbacks, and they're all great quarterbacks. And then Munich is like, I have this young guy. I'm going to sign him to a multi-year contract. First of all, did you feel expectation on you when you signed with Munich? Second of all, what do you think has helped you fill in for Chad Jeffries? And do you think the team in particular helped you fill his shoes without, you know, holding you back in any way or something like that?
Yeah, I mean, you know, I know everyone here really, really loves Chad and respects him a lot. And, you know, especially him coming in with an expansion franchise at ground zero and having as much success as he did is super impressive. But I mean, honestly, I didn't feel any added expectation because he was the quarterback here before I was. Would imagine every American import, especially every American quarterback, would say this, but you know, we're not coming over here halfway across the world 6 months out of the year to be average. You know, we come over here to dominate and to go win a championship. And so whether the quarterback before me was the worst in the league or the best in the league, that wasn't going to impact the expectations that I put on myself. So long story short, no, there wasn't any expectation on me from filling in for Chad. But I do think that the team and the organization has done a phenomenal job of just kind of facilitating my process of joining the ELF and feeling super comfortable here. And I really just can't, I guess, understate the importance of having Kyle Callahan and Sean Shelton here, and then really good players around me, because you know, a quarterback's only as good as the guys around him, especially the O-line and the skill guys. And so I kind of didn't really know what I was getting myself into when I signed, but for whatever reason, I feel like I won the lottery and lucked out with just a really good supporting cast, and that's definitely helped me perform at a solid level this year.
All right, so my second question was, of course, Game Picks is the segment that's coming up. I'm going to be with Jamal Clay. We're going to be talking about the next week of games. Your next game is against the Madrid Bravos, a game that Joey commented in the first time around, a game that was truly amazing. How are you preparing to go up against a Bravos team that wants to get in the playoffs and that has an offense that is tough to hang with, you know, tough to stay in the game with? Because if you don't play the first half of the game, Madrid is going to go up by 24.
No doubt. And that's what happened the first time. But, you know, we felt fortunate to still be able to escape with a win because of how well our defense played in the second half. But I guess to your prior point, you know, one thing I learned in my time playing in Spain is those guys play with so much heart and a huge chip on their shoulder. And you combine that with having the playoffs on the line for them. And so I know we're going to get their best punch. And they do have an incredible offense. And so I think at least I can only speak for our unit on offense. And we go into every game like this, but especially for a game like this, you got to score every drive, because with this offense we're going against, you never would want to find yourself in a position where you don't score on the first drive and now you can never catch up the rest of the game, because they're just that prolific on the other end. And even though I feel like we have the best defense in the league, you know, as a competitor, you always want to feel like you've got the balance in the game in your hands. And so I guess at a certain point in the game last time, we kind of felt like even though we've kind of caught our groove now and we feel confident that we'll score every possession with the rest of the game, that still might not be enough unless our defense can get a stop or unless we can get crucial plays on special teams or things like that. And you always want kind of self-determination and control in your hands. And so we got to start fast.
Yeah. So you're saying you wouldn't want to block the potential game-tying field goal again to win if you had to draw it up?
Hey, I know I'm the youngest quarterback in the league, but I think I got a couple gray hairs growing in from that last drive.
That was crazy. Yeah, that was a lot of fun. And I know you guys got to catch up with Reed and play some golf as well. It was a cool video. It's interesting to see you guys have that relationship. It's awesome to see quarterbacks being able to hang out during off weeks or whatever it might be, spreading and growing the game, man. That's what it's all about. So, and when you have a QB clash like that, that's what makes the game great. I wish I was calling it. Yeah. To be honest, it'd be fun to do round two. But.
Yeah,
I wish I was there.
Yeah,
it's a pleasure getting to play against guys like that, because you know it makes me make sure I'm on my A game. And I think for both of us, as we hopefully both go into the playoffs, games like this are are what makes it better, and iron sharpens iron. And I'm glad to have kind of more playoff-esque games on our schedule as we move there.
This could be a preview of wild card, because as of right now, I mean, it looks, as long as Nordic takes care of business and Vienna, like, they're pretty much going to have 1-2 locked up. And but you might have a Munich Ravens team that might just go on a run here, get the point differential, and you guys could sneak into a bye. I mean, that'd be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, strength of wins might see.
Did I misspeak? Are you guys clinched right now? Is the season ending today?
We're clinched, and I think strength of victory would actually play in our advantage. So I think if we win out, we're control our destiny of having a bye. So that's
my bad. So because I knew there was something goofy, because I remember looking and I was like, why is Munich not 1 or 2 right now? So
Storm somehow lost to Frankfurt, so that's all happened. My last question before we move on to game picks is: do you think the homecoming jerseys are going to help you clinch this bye week this weekend?
Thank you. There's, we're excited about it, and anything to get some more fans out there. We're always a huge fans of as players, and so I don't know about the jerseys. Hopefully the Bravos wear red or something, so it's very clear who's who. That's pretty much all I care about as a quarterback. But hopefully so. I think maybe
I think they have red pants. I don't think they have a red jersey.
Okay, yeah. I guess hopefully they'll be black then. But no, we're excited about it, and always a pleasure to get to play in front of the home crowd.
Moving on to game picks. Thank you so much, Russell, for getting into the interview. I hope you had a lot of fun with the trivia and everything we did. And Joey, of course, thank you so much. And I don't know if you're calling any game this weekend. Are you calling any game?
Yeah, I have the Storm and Hamburg. So
you're always with the Storm, of course. Yeah. So Joey, enjoy calling your game. Russell, I'll love watching your game against Madrid. Best of luck with that one. And thank you for stopping by.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Appreciate it, Russell.
All right, so welcome to Game Picks. How are you doing, Jamal? It's another week. We're getting close to the end of the season, man. It's sad. It went by really, really fast. But yeah, how you doing?
I'm good, man. It did go by sad. We're at the point where we're over the league hump in week 12, and we're heading down the final stretch. And we're gonna get some clarity and some answers these next couple of weeks, and I'm excited to see how it all pans out.
Yeah, and one of the factors for the league getting to, I think, what is the best playoff race we've ever seen is that we're covering 4 games. We're going to talk about 4 games in this game pick. So stick around. Let's start off with the first one. First one doesn't really have much playoff implication, though. It's a tank bowl, but it's going to be a really fun game, in my opinion. It's the Enthroners against the Berlin Thunder. What's your thought on this game?
Yeah, to be honest, I think over the past couple of weeks, we've seen the Enthroners actually play better. We've seen the Enthroners look a little bit more competent. They're putting up a lot of points, a lot of scores. Brett Pullman and John Cole have found chemistry and got on the same page, and I think this could be an upset opportunity. I think they could go. I think they're going to welcome Berlin to their home, and I think this is the opportunity where they could get Berlin. So we'll see how it is. Again, you got one team fighting for their first win, one team who really doesn't have anything to gain, just more to lose. I think this could be a perfect setup for an Enthroners victory.
Yes, sir. So I agree with that, of course, because me and you are going Enthroners. We have, I think it's Matt and Alex going for Berlin. So here's some factor. First of all, John Cole is doing crazy stuff in the Hungarian region. I've seen I thought it was a vision at first. John Cole is able to do the craziness of getting an Enthroners players in fantasy lineups. So that's something outstanding that I've never seen done before. So that's shows for the level that he's bringing to the team. And then, of course, the Enthroners halfway through the season made a switch. And they started playing a bit different defense compared to what they did. They started getting some DBs, American DBs, which they never did. And they're playing against, I'm sorry to throw shade on you, Jacob Sullivan, they're playing against the all-time leader for single season interception. So I think this is going to play a factor in this game. I think the Enthroners are going to get a win that is going to be a very, very good win for, their history. It's the Berlin Thunder. Is no Frankfurt Galaxy or, other teams that are closer to the mid section. But I think it's going to be a fun game and a good win for the Enthroners. What's the next game that we want to break down?
Yeah, I think the next game we want to dive into is that Munich Madrid game.
Yeah, we got to talk about that one.
I think that Munich Madrid game I've done some research. All right.
Okay.
Madrid might be one of the scariest teams to play your second time around, right? So you think about when they played Hamburg and they lost by 1 point. The next time they threw up 50 plus on Hamburg.
Yeah.
Right. You think about when they played, the Raiders and they lost by 1 point. Some argue you could maybe think that they should have won that game. They put up 50 plus on the Raiders, and they held the Raiders
game
offense.
Was done like halfway through the third quarter.
The Raiders offense only scored 8 points in the second half, right? So now we're coming down the stretch. And granted, they haven't had we thought the schedule was going to be a lot harder than what it was. But now, again, I guess another game you could throw out when they played Helvetic, and people think, that game was closer than what it was, right? Put up 60 against Helvetic. And again, this is a Madrid team coming down a stretch where they only really got to win one of their last two, right? And obviously you got Munich and you got Frankfurt. Frankfurt's a completely different team from what they played the first time. And then even that Munich game, you see a trend here. They lost by 1 point, right? So it's going to be interesting to see this week against Munich, what they've learned from what Andrew Weidinger is able to draw up and what this team is going to look like heading into the playoffs. This is the best offense in Europe, the best show on the European grass. I'm going to be interested to see, is Madrid really capable, not only just obviously getting to the playoffs, I think it's trending that way, but winning a playoff game are some of the questions we're going to have to start asking ourselves.
Yes, sir. Well, obviously the insiders all agree with you. I don't, because I went with the Munich Ravens. Because I might be skewed by the fact that I just had an interview with Joey Lindstrom as my co-host and Tabor time. And, that's a clutch factor that it's tough to take out of the game, First time around, Munich were down by like 24. So, and then Tabor time were just able to bring his team back into, of course, it's defense as well. It's a whole team effort. But, when it comes down to it and it's the fourth quarter, it just is Tabor time. You can't stop him. So, that's a factor that you can't take out of this game, And this ain't no golf game. This ain't no golf course. So it's gonna be ball in hand, and Tabor time I think has the best on this one. But I guess we'll see. It's gonna be a fun game to follow, a really really high scoring game. So yeah, I'm gonna make sure to tune in for that one. It's gonna be really fun to follow. What's the next game that we need to talk about?
Hey, listen, we got to talk about Raiders versus the Rhine Fire, right? Yeah. The 3P is still alive.
Is it?
It is
still alive.
The 3P is still alive. If you would have asked, I made a comment earlier in the year that whoever wins or loses versus Fire and Paris in that second game was going to miss the playoffs. And listen, it's still factual, still can happen, but it's not looking that way because the Fire have discovered the passing game over the past 2 weeks, right?
Yeah.
You get Kofi going for 6 tugs. You get Chad Jeffries going for 3+ in each game. If they could marry that passing game with the running game of John Scott, right? Mm-hmm. This is another team that could potentially be dangerous. The wild card teams, if you think about the wild card teams, the capabilities of them, from quarterback to offense to defense, you're either going to see Madrid, Rhine Fire, maybe a Paris Musketeers team.
Yeah.
Maybe Prague, but again, is Prague gonna have the offensive power to go, head to head with, a Stuttgart or a Munich or a Nordic? That's what it's gonna look like. It's gonna be one of those other home games. So it's gonna be crazy to see down the stretch what all this is gonna look like.
Yes, sir. Another team that is still in for the playoffs that has, it's a really fun team to follow is the Raiders Tirol, and that's why I'm writing this for this one. Okay, so the Raiders Tirol, they're great. They have the rushing game that nobody has. I don't care about Selig and stuff. That's another type of offense, okay? Yeah. I'm talking about pure rushing, like hard-nosed rushing. Nobody's running it like them. And then, that Sullivan's and Perry connection, that's fun to watch, Sullivan can catch you one hand in the back of the end zone, and you can't guard him like that. You can be all over him. He's still getting it one hand back the end zone. So my thing is, Rhein Fire looked defeated before this Berlin game, and then they go play against Berlin. They have a great game, record-breaking game, all that, super cool. But it was against Berlin, so I'm not getting too worked up over that one. I think the Raiders are gonna be are gonna make the Rhein Fire come crashing down to reality this weekend, and I'm the only one that thinks that. But hey, I'm just riding with my thought, I'm just riding with what I believe in.
No, absolutely. And I think one thing to point out with Corey Sullivan, I think we haven't even seen like his max potential. We've started to see like some highlights late, like towards the second half. But in terms of the capability of a true number one X receiver, I don't even think we scratched the surface of his potential. And I hope we get the opportunity to kind of see him next year, either with the Raiders or, obviously back in the league at somewhere.
Yes, sir. Well, I'm telling you, we might even get an opportunity to see him in the playoffs, doing some crazy stuff. So, but it's too early to talk next year for the Raiders, in my opinion. The season is not over.
Not over.
Let's move on to the game of the week. We said we're gonna break down 4. We already broke down 3 games. What's the game of the week, man?
Hey, for us, it's Frankfurt going to Prague, right?
Yes, sir.
This is the Jamison Wang Frankfurt Galaxy is a way different team, different energy, different functionality than what it was with McKay. And that's nothing to say against McKay, but you can tell that the team blends better with Jamison Wang than they did with McKay, especially offensively. And then defensively, Bijan Harris,
he's changed that team around.
He's changed the secondary.
Yeah.
Right. He's changed the mentality of the secondary. He's changed the way they play defense. Like, why this guy wasn't signed beginning of the year, not just last year, but this year is wild. And some team is going to sign him, right? Some team is going to sign him next season, or at least try to sign him, obviously, depending on, what he wants to do. But the Frankfurt Galaxy is a real contender to play spoiler for a lot of teams. And a couple bounces their way, they can still sneak into the playoffs. All right.
Yeah.
And then you think about a Prague team that, again, what a great season they had. They might have the coach of the year, assistant coach of the year, defensive rookie of the year, comeback player of the year, special teams player of the year, maybe offensive player of the year.
They're winning all the awards.
Like Prague, like Prague, complete 360. Now, over the past couple of weeks, though, Prague hasn't really been playing their best ball.
Yeah.
Right? You take out that Helvetic game, and Prague hasn't looked like the Prague we thought they did midway
even with the Helvetic game, they won like 10-6 or something. My book, that's disappointing if you're a playoff team to win 10-6.
Absolutely. And another thing to point out is this giving Wrocław Panthers Prague Lions game 2 vibes, where Prague went in, shocked the team and the team wasn't expecting, then blew the team out. And now that team kind of knows what they're getting from the Prague Lions. Is it kind of giving those vibes, something that you got to think about when picking this game?
Yes, sir. I agree with that. And that's why I'm riding with you. I'm going for the Frankfurt Galaxy as well to win this one. It's crazy because I think the past few weeks really influenced our vision over the Prague Lions. We are back to the earlier parts of the season where everybody's picking against them and Matt Dressington is the only crazy head that's still going Prague. But Matt always said for this year, these are not your grandpa's Prague Lions. This team is different. This team has new stars on the team and stuff like that. Well, what I'm going to say to you is this is not your father's Frankfurt Galaxy. This team is way different compared to the start of the season. As you said, a lot of signings halfway through the season. Bijan, Easton, Wang. Man, Wang is playing so nice. So, I'm just excited. This team went from looking like Swiss cheese on defense to getting 4 picks and 2 pick sixes against the best quarterback in European League of Football history. So, I don't know. Can Javarian hang with this renewed Frankfurt defense? Can the Prague Lions defense hang with this Jameson Wang? Can you hang with Wang? I don't think they can. So that's why I'm going for the Frankfurt Galaxy. I'd love to have Matt's opinion. I hope he drops a comment or something where he defends his Prague Lions. I don't know. I'm more confident in the 3% chance of Frankfurt getting the playoffs than the whatever 18, 20, I don't know what it was, percent for the Prague Lions. Honestly, I don't know, maybe it sounds crazy, but it is like that in my opinion.
No, absolutely. And you think about like the teams that Frankfurt has played since Simon Jameson went, right? You think about his performance versus Stuttgart. You think about the win versus Nordic, right? So these are, some of the top teams, right?
Sir.
And
We're
he's turned
about division winners.
He's turned Jameson Wayne has turned Frankfurt and has them playing top level ELF ball right now. All right.
Yes,
so again, if Prague wants to get to the playoffs, it's going to be a well-earned victory, and we're going to see how it all pans out. But I'm picking Frankfurt. Listen, I think the level and the competition that they played over the past couple weeks compared to what Prague has played and looked like, and granted, everyone's coming off a bye week. I think this is a Frankfurt team that's different. This is more like your cousin's Frankfurt team and not your grandfather's Frankfurt team.
Yes, sir. Yeah, so my next question, of course, is, as always, as every week, who's your player to watch for this weekend of ELF ball?
Yeah, this one may surprise a couple people because this is more of a player to watch. I'm not necessarily sure what the fantasy numbers are going to look like, but a player that I'm going to watch is someone that is near and dear to my heart. Someone who is from the beautiful state of New Jersey, someone who is a Helvetic great, and someone who has come back to finish his career in these last two games and is playing with house money. And that's right, I'm talking about Carlton Aiken, right?
Yes, sir.
Carlton Aiken is my player to watch. You've seen what Hamburg did and the troubles that they gave Nordic the first time they played. That defense actually played well for a half, right? And the quarterback play wasn't great, but now you're bringing in Carlton. And what does Carlton do? Carlton is someone who not only can get you in the pass game, but can use his legs, right? And playbook's going to be very – I'm not going to say the playbook's going to be somewhat vanilla, but it's whatever's going to get him to play fast. And again, he's playing with house money. He doesn't care. He's done after 2 games, right? But if I know Carlton the way I know Carlton, he's coming in to upset Nordic, right? He's coming in to make a name for himself.
Man.
And I am picking Carlton Aiken for player to watch this week.
Imagine if the Nordic Storm lost back-to-back Frankfurt and Hamburg. I'm so excited to watch Carlton Aiken as well. The only thing, Carlton, I love you. You're a great player. My only thought is this Carlton Aiken or Coach Aiken that we're gonna get in the game? Like, what I'm saying is this guy ready to be at the level that we know he can be? I don't know. I hope he is because I really want to have fun watching him. But I don't know if he's gonna be necessarily that ready.
Well, you think about it like this: Nordic just put Ludwig Marvin on IR. And they're more of a 3-down, they're more of a 3-4 scheme out front on the defensive side. So what does that mean? That means what Hamburg is going to try to do. They're going to bring in the tight end, and you're going to see a lot of Chris Kaya. All right, you're going to see a lot. You're going to see a lot in the run game, and with the run game, you're going to see a lot of read option. All right, so with the run game and then with the read option, that's going to open up the pass game a little bit. They're a team that plays a lot of zone, right? So I think you'll see a lot of like short passing game, all right, until a play action opens up the secondary a little bit. But you can't ignore Luke Lena or Chad Walren. They played that against Frankfurt. There's no doubt about it. All right, so bye week came at the right time, and they're gonna be looking to bounce back. And he's going up against the GOAT of the ELF, Adrian Clark. However, I picked Nordic to win. I don't want to get that twisted. I picked Nordic to win, but I'm not going to discredit the impact that Carlton Aiken can potentially have on this team.
Were you tempted to text me, hey, bro, change it to HSD before when the Aiken news got out? Were you tempted to change your pickup?
No, because I don't trust the secondary.
Fair enough. Well, I'm going to give you my player to watch. My opinion, this week's player to watch, and I'm calling you out looking directly into the camera, Javarian Smith. Ooh. If you want to prove that the Prague Lions are not my grandpa's Prague Lions, show it to me. You've let your team down in some occasions this year. You've played amazing. This is no doubt the best season ever for the Prague Lions. All of that, very good stuff. Prove it to me against a Frankfurt team that's coming up and that is hot. When you were the hot team, everybody had to watch out for you. Now you're holding somebody in your hand that's really, really hot. Show me that you can handle it. That's all I'm going to say. Show me that you can handle it.
Yeah, listen, that's fair words. Fair words.
Mm-hmm.
there's some games your quarterbacks just have to get you over the hump. All right,
Yes,
there's
sir.
some games your quarterback may have to be the difference maker, or when times are, getting tight, they have to be the best player on the field. All right, and if you want to go to the playoffs, that performance needs to happen sooner rather than later.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. All right, let's move on to fantasy. Who's your must start in fantasy this week?
Yeah, I'm going back to the same guy I picked when the last time they played Helvetic. I'm going Nico Kandar. I think Paris is going to run the ball. I think they're going to try to find again what their identity is against Helvetic before going into that Vienna game, because obviously that Vienna game is going to mean a lot. But they're gonna run the ball. Henderson's going to run the ball. But I'm going to say, if I was a betting man, I'm gonna go 3 touchdowns for Kandar this week.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of sad about that because I had this whole speech ready for you're struggling to find the running back. I'm gonna give you the running back that you need and pick Kandar as well. I'm gonna have to switch it up. I'm gonna have to go back to the roots. As you guys know, when you're struggling with a position, you listen to Jamal. When you're being dumb in a position, you listen to me. Listen to me. Start the surge defense this weekend. Yes. The surge defense, or Paris too, actually. Paris is playing Helvetic. That could be a good pick too. But surge is a must start in my opinion, honestly. It's an easy pick. Gotta have them in your team. If you're not starting either Paris or surge on defense, you're a dumbass. So make sure you fix that. All right.
Yeah, and keep this in mind. Surge defense versus a homegrown quarterback. Paris defense versus McCormick, the quarter, Keegan McCormick. So however you want to dice it, you can't go wrong with either. But I would lean more surge.
Yes, sir.
Even if they are playing their backups. Even if they are playing their backups.
I completely agree. Well, guys, thank you so much for following for another Game Picks episode. If you're from the whole episode, thank you so much for watching all the way through. If you're watching only Game Picks, make sure to go back and watch the interview that I had with Joey and Russell Tabor. We had a little fun game, actually. We drafted a little team. So I'm not going to spoil too much, but that was a lot of fun to record. So make sure to go watch that. As always, like, comment, subscribe, share this with every one of your family, every one of your friends, all the people that's around you. Make sure that people are seeing this because, we're trying to grow too. So support the growth. If you haven't yet seen it, First Down Magazine, First Down Magazine polos are out. Text me in the DMs, write to First Down Magazine in DMs if you want one. Yeah, all that good stuff. Thank you so much for following along and enjoy your week 13 already? Damn,
13. We're down the stretch.
Yes, sir. Well, enjoy your week 13. Bye.